Higgins, what's this that's walked into our house?
Oh, hello everyone. Would you like to buy a flower from my basket that looks empty, but I got some flowers here.
Who let him into the house? No good, sir. Wait, can you talk again? What was your name?
My name is Michael Cocaine. How you going?
What a fascinating accent, Higgins. Tell you what, Michael Cocaine, would you like to change your voice?
I'd love to change my voice so I could sell more flowers and other wonderful goods.
Is there cocaine in your basket?
Don't think about it. Just look at the pretty flower.
Try and repeat this for me, good chap. The podcast on Chromecast will never be miscast.
The podcast on Chromecast will never be miscast.
That's it. The bet's off.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hello, world. How's it going? Just you and me just waving to the world outside. Hello.
Hello, everyone. How are we all?
Hi.
Okay, so here we go. Here we go, Nathan. I've got to talk to you about something.
Okay.
and you're gonna love it. In fact, you might love it so much you might call it off the episode once you learn what I'm gonna bring up in this conversation.
All right. The hype. All right.
Hats. Yeah. Hats. Okay.
Hats. Okay, what about them?
What the fuck is with caps? Okay? You know, like any form of cap that goes on your head.
Yeah.
Like, I know the way fashion has evolved. It's like we're trying to stay cool, we're trying to keep hip.
What's wrong with an old cap?
It doesn't protect your fucking ears from the sun. Oh. Like, what is the logical point of the cap's creation? It was keeping me up last night, and I can't.
Have you ever worn like a New York Yankees cap, even though you don't support that team, and you're like, yeah, man, I'm cool, like, I'm with it.
Totally. But my point is, why the fuck do I do it? My ears are getting burnt.
Do you remember, I feel like the best hats that exist, do you remember like when we were like 5 years old, and we used to wear those like shitty hats, where it was like a cap, but it had attached to this like weird like curtain behind
yes!
the cap. Yes! And it would go down to your shoulders.
What do you mean? What do you mean I used to wear them? I still wear them because now I get the fashion accessory of the cap, plus a little curtain to protect my fragile ears from the sun.
Could you imagine if they came back into fashion? I mean, they have never been in fashion. They're one of the rare
things. They've never been in fashion.
But like, for some reason, 5-year-olds wear them because every parent's very precious about their child, as they should be about sunburn. You know, sun safety is an important thing, Brenton. Good on you for bringing up sun safety. An important message to share in the podcast. But I agree. I feel like there's a point where you become like a young child and you're like, these hats look fucking ridiculous. I'm just going to risk it.
Risk it for the biscuit, as they say.
Risk it for the biscuit. But I remember as a child being scolded for not wearing sunscreen. Like, you should wear sunscreen. I remember going on a school excursion once, and there was like a year 3 teacher who like handed out the sunscreen, and I just said no. And she went apeshit at me. She was like, "You will die young." And I'm like, "Excuse me." Like, it was, and she's probably right, but like,
but maybe she was just going through some personal, trauma, maybe related to I don't know. Maybe she'd had a skin cancer or like a little mole or something that had to be removed or something that was on her fucking ear.
Oh my god!
Because she wore caps throughout her life.
It's true. It's a dangerous thing. I miss society. Remember how like top hats, like you used to have a taller top hat if you were richer.
Yeah. But
Again, I wish we could do that now. I reckon it'd be really funny. Bring back the top hat. Could you imagine everyone walking out, taking off their little top hats?
Even if it's not a top hat, even if it was just like, you know, instead of like your hat gets taller, your cap, the brim just gets longer.
I'm trying to think like, what would be like a modern thing today that would show off wealth. I feel like just jewelry does the job these days. But no, I love the taller caps. Also, I feel like back in the day, you know, a taller cap showed off wealth. Was it really that much more expensive to have your cap be taller? I feel like they weren't very expensive things to own. So, like, if you were poor, you could still buy, like, a really tall cap and just pull it off that you're rich.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
You know, it's like when someone poor these days, you see them wearing, like, a really expensive logo or something like that, and you're like, oh, they must be so rich. I feel like that was the equivalent back then. You walk past, like, some Oliver Twist, like, London street, and one of them's got a really tall cap. Like, Artful Dodger. There you go. That's using hats to an effective thing.
But I don't know. I guess I think that we would say maybe even more so than the top hat. how tall your top hat was. Maybe if you were clean as well, that had something to do with it, you know? Because, you know, Artful Dodger coming along with his really tall hat, but he's fucking covered in mud.
You're like, the hat isn't helping that much, buddy.
Or the opposite, like they just like treat him like he's high society. Like, oh, I like what you've done with your coat.
It's like a Clark Kent moment. So the second he takes off his hat, they're like, "Ew, disgusting filth, walk along, boy." But he puts the hat back on and they're like, "Oh, good sir, we didn't even know. Step into our shop." And they're like,
"Step into our shop.
Yeah.
Here, have a cigar." There you go, my
and then
lad.
the hat falls off. They're like, "Wait a minute, boy, how did you get that cigar?"
Or like, who's this? Who the hell is this?
How did they get into our store? He's like, "No, I'm the Artful Dodger." And it was, oh, that's so great. Oh, hats. Bring them back, I say, Brenton.
Bring them back. Bring them back. Bring back those caps with the curtain. That's what I want. Welcome to Classic Movie Banter. You know, that podcast where Brenton and
a very poor Nathan
we discuss movies that are 20 years or older, and we tell you whether they're worth a watch or not by giving them a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
We pick the classics.
Yeah. Obviously, 20 years or older would that's why they're called classic, because it's, you know, they're fucking old. Yeah. And then we tell you whether they're actually real classics that will stand the test of time, or whether they're, you know, just worth, you know, forgetting.
Yeah, it's like let's put that film back to bed now. It's like, no, yes, but boys, no, back to bed, Emerald City.
tuck that fucking film reel back under the covers, sneak out of the room, pour some gasoline on the other side of the door, and then just light a match and fucking run.
Godfather Part 3 is beating on the windows like, "No, I still have so much to offer." Like, no.
Oh, that's a better way of putting it. It's like, which people are you going to save from the which films are you going to save from the zombie apocalypse? So, you know, they're all running to your house, you've boarded all the windows and whatnot, and it's like, do I let them in the doggy door?
We're like, ooh.
You know what, Emerald City, you can fucking stay out. And fend for yourself.
Blade, you can get in this fire engine first, okay?
Blade, you're in. Yeah. Blade, you can come. Well, you can come on in. But yeah, obviously, as we just demonstrated, we throw in some pretty shit banter for good measure in these episodes, and that's what makes the film, the podcast name, Classic Movie Banter. Funny that, isn't it?
What an explanation! I love it. Hey, Brandon, how are you doing today on this brand new day?
It is a brand new day, and yeah, it's going.
It's going all right.
The sun is the Earth is revolving around the sun. We're still going.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting there.
I'm recovering.
There's a bit of existential dread, you know, mixed in for good measure.
I hear you.
It's, you know.
Brenton, I have to disclose I'm severely hungover, but I am still so excited to do this episode.
I'm even more excited to do the episode now that I know that you are severely hungover.
I know, because you know I'm vulnerable. Like, you know, you can throw shit my direction. I'll just like moan in response, just be like, ugh.
I feel like, okay, so I'm gonna like make a very valid like criticism or like critique of this film, and then all we're gonna hear Nathan do is, "Whoa,
wouldn't it be lovely not being hungover?" I literally danced all night. Are we speaking My Fair Lady references?
And speaking of which, that's the movie we're talking about. Funny that. Yay.
We're doing another musical, you know. We have been badgered to do My Fair Lady for so long, and we keep on putting it off because we both just don't want to watch My Fair Lady, but we did it.
I like musicals, don't get me wrong. I really do like musicals, but I've never seen this one, and for some reason, in my mind, the film has always seemed boring. That's just... And without knowing, you know, anything about it, obviously I know the musical, but without knowing anything really about the film, it was just like, I don't want to watch that. Like, for whatever reason, yeah.
But because it's our job, we have, and so...
for you, our audience, for you, our wonderful audience, we have sacrificed much to make this episode happen. But yeah, so episode 48
so
is
yeah,
My Fair Lady.
I am Jack Warner. We're in the Warner Brothers studio lot in the 1960s, I think this film was released in. So
64, I think. Yeah.
64, there you go. We're in 1964, the year my father was born, believe it or not. And but we're ignoring my newly born father, and we're in the studio lot. And I'm Jack Warner, and can you please, Brenton, pitch me My Fair Lady?
Why, hello there. I have a film to pitch for you today.
Oh, great!
You know that smash hit musical that lit up Broadway, starring Julie Andrews.
Singing in the Rain.
No. The musical that she was discovered in on Broadway, and it was a smash hit.
Oh, of
she
course.
gave an amazing performance. It was called My Fair Lady.
Yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna translate that to film, like the whole thing.
Oh,
the whole thing.
Is Julie Andrews going to come onto the film as well?
No. Audrey Hepburn.
Why not Julie Andrews?
Why not Audrey Hepburn?
I mean, sure, but okay, I've never seen this musical before. Whatever would it be about?
Okay, so you know everyone's favorite thing, phonetics.
Yeah, that wildly interesting topic that everyone's into, phonetics. Keep going.
Well, the main character in this film is a phonetics professor, and guess
Riveting.
what? He boasts that he is the best, and that he could train anyone to speak good, as they say.
Could he train a cat?
Hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Who's pitching this film? Get back behind your desk.
I'm sorry,
Warner,
I'm Jack Warner. I'm a loose cannon. I'm one of the Warner brothers. Do you not see my name on that water tower over there?
So yeah, basically what happens is that he thinks that society. Just think, many years from now, there's going to be this podcast where two young men talk about that society. The structure of your place in society was based upon the height of your hat. Well, this professor believes that your place in society is based around how well you speak.
Ah.
So he decides to prove this by accepting a bet to teach this young Cockney flower seller girl that is on the street to be a lady. A fair lady. My fair lady.
Wow. Okay. I, Jack Warner, will give you millions of dollars, random producer / director, and we're gonna make this film, and we're gonna make phonetics into the mainstream and make the public just wanna make themselves sound better.
Trust me, Warner, they're gonna eat it up. Nom nom.
Great pitch, Brenton. You're just growing as a pitcher. I tell you what, your batting is great, man. You're just throwing those wickets. I'm just gonna keep making cricket references. Well done. You're doing good stuff.
I think there were terrible cricket references as well, but we'll continue.
Is it really evident I don't watch cricket? Like
you said, I don't even know. Like I didn't know if we were talking about baseball or cricket there for a moment. I was just like,
I don't know either.
Ooh. Anyway, let's rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Oh, that wound is still open after many months. And let's talk about My Fair Lady.
Let's talk about it.
All right, so here's the thing. I like this musical.
Yes.
I do like this musical. But when you decide to translate something to film, there's got to be some differences. There's got to be some changes made.
You've got to adapt it for the cinematic medium and take advantage of different camera angles and different lighting, or just any lighting that's not stage lighting.
So if this was like filmed on a stage and in using theatrical conventions, I'd be down with it. But it's not. It's a film. And and while there is a lot to like about this, there's a lot I don't like in the sense of that it's way too fucking long, and it's too many. The camera's is zoomed way too far out the whole time, and it's God, I know. We're trying to capture everything in a scene, and obviously what is happening on the screen is meant to be as interesting as possible, so that we can distract from the fact that no real let's say conventions of film are used.
No, it is like it's so noticeable. Like it's like you've seen this film Hail Caesar?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how like you're walking around the studio a lot and you're watching all these different musicals film in there?
Yeah,
I feel
totally.
like we've just walked onto one of these musicals and we're just seeing like on the one sound stage, like they've literally just done a musical, but they're just like changing the sets every time they cut camera, you know?
It's like one of those. Okay, no, that's not a fair comparison, but I will say it just for lols. It's like one of those live musicals that are starting. They're trying to make all the rage in the States that they film for TV, and they'll be like, "We're doing Grease," and then they just have this fucking camera that just like tracks everything that's happening on this huge fucking soundstage, and you're just like, "Oh god." What's the point?
The last musical that you and I reviewed was Cats, and that was just.
Oh, it was too. From the trauma of that, I just kind of put that out of my mind.
So did I, Brenton. So did I.
So honestly, I thought the last musical we reviewed was West Side Story, but well, okay, well that's
yeah,
being
we
the
did
case.
have that blimp of Cats on our radar.
Okay, that being said, is this the best musical we've reviewed?
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Agreed.
Yes, by a mile. Brenton, to be honest with you, like, I agree. The film is very long, way much longer than it needs to be. But I don't know what it was, but I really had a great time with this movie.
Me too. So that is like all my criticism, like all in the ball. That was it. I just now want to say
I have a lot more criticisms. But regardless of those criticisms, it's one of those films where I'm just seeing its flaws, but I'm like, I don't care. Or I'm like, you know what? This is just a fun, stupid time. Like,
what a good time. What a great time. So let's talk about the characters. Audrey Hepburn is Eliza
Audrey
Doolittle.
Hepburn.
Let's get into it.
Okay, because there's a classic comparison where like you should have been Joy Andrews, and yes, I probably should have been Joy Andrews, but like, I think she did a good job eventually. When we first meet her, and she's this like fucking weird flower girl in the middle of some like Trafalgar Square looking ass market, her accent is all over the shop. It's quite terrible. Like, people talk about Dick Van Dyke's British accent, but her British accent, her Cockney is quite bad.
But she's British. That's the thing.
That's the thing! She is, and yet, despite that, she does the weirdest Cockney accent I've ever heard in cinema. Like, it's this, I can't even describe it. It's like this weird, like, like, she sounds like a bird every time she screeches. She's like, governor! Like,
I mean, there are some uses of it that sound, like, obviously Cockney of that time. Like, so if you watch Oliver, as in like the Lionel Bart's Oliver the musical film that came out in the 60s as well, I believe. Like
they probably just like used the same accent, like she was just on the set next door.
The accents are a bit like, the Cockney accent's pretty fucking full on. Like, it's very loud, it's very loud, it's very annoying. But at the same time, the accents in Oliver was still a bit more understated than this shit. It's just like,
oh my god! I think also because she's juxtaposed directly next to everyone who can speak okay, so like maybe that's why it really stands out.
And I think as well, like maybe like in terms of direction and performance, they are trying to obviously highlight how fucking awful the accent is.
Yeah. It's pretty abysmal. When I first saw her, I'm like, is she meant to be a really poor version of Mary Poppins? Because like I saw her in that atrocious dress she's first wearing in the marketplace. I'm like, she looks a little bit like Mary Poppins, and I like to think
as well.
And the hat, especially the hat. And I'm like, is this what Mary Poppins did before she was a nanny? Like, like Julie Andrews has like a weird flashback in her house, and it's like her just like trying to sell flowers on the street. She's like, ooh, good thing I'm a nanny now.
Ooh, glad I'm not in that position anymore. Holy shit.
This is what it means. Could you imagine if this was actually a prequel to Mary Poppins? Like, at the end of the film.
Oh my god.
Like,
it could actually be.
Because it could work. It 100% could work. Because she learns to speak good, and at the end of the film, the film ends with her still alive. That's not a spoiler. I don't think she'll die in My Fair Lady. So, but she ends alive, and she goes off, so it could easily segue into Mary Poppins. Dude, this is something they should do.
They should. They really should.
The film, a big criticism I have of this film, frankly, is that it's very sexist. Like, it is
totally.
Like blatantly sexist. Even for the 60s, this film is proper sexist. Like, so Eliza ends up finding this guy called Higgins, this professor who she trains with, and he is a monster. Like, he is such a bad bloke. Like, I did not like him at all.
He's like Frankenstein to a certain degree, and she's Frankenstein's monster. Like, it's very,
I don't understand it. Like, he keeps talking about her while he's training her like she's a car or something, or like she's like a pet dog. Like, he's so derogatory towards her. He at one point, okay, this is my real breaking point. He at one point sings a song that goes like, why can't she be a man? It was like, why can't women be men? And I'm like, you misogynist dinosaur. Like, this is so outdated. Like, I'm curious if, like, Broadway productions almost cut that song out these days. Because, like, it's such a sexist song.
But I think it's the point of the show. Like, it's, like, to be... I think that's the whole point of it, is, like...
Laughing at old men just being sexist. Like, haha.
No, I don't think it's funny. Like, I think it's, like, meant to show, like, to a certain extent, meant to show, like... Because the time this is set at, it is obviously like, you know, I imagine that men would, to a certain extent, some men would talk to women like they were property or cars or other inanimate objects or vehicles.
Yeah, and it's not okay. But I know in this one, like,
I'm not saying it's okay.
She's blatantly taking it, like, because there's this weird power dynamic where she owes him, like, she literally needs him to get her voice better, and so he just gets away with giving her shit the whole movie. At the time, I just felt so sorry for her, and then there's a plot line that develops with both of them that I did not approve of. If I don't want to spoil it, but like. Yeah, I was like, no. I'm like, nah. I'm not a fan of where this eventually leads.
Cool. We'll talk about that once we get to.
We'll talk about it in spoilers.
Section.
But I do enjoy that because I don't think I've seen this before, where Higgins is both mentor and antagonist. I think I've seen that dynamic where the mentor is the antagonist at the exact same time. It's kind of interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, because I don't think she's her biggest barrier. I genuinely think it's Higgins. Like, and it's the shit he gives him. Like, I wasn't a fan. Brenton, another issue with this film that I have a lot of other musicals is that the story was paper thin. Like, yes,
that's yeah. In terms of the musical itself, it's not my actual favorite musical by any stretch of the imagination.
Is there?
Because it's yeah, I don't know. I've just never loved the story or the
It's just, you know, she rocks up to learn to speak well, and then there's like a bet where she has to go to a ball and meet a prince or whatever, and if he's convinced she can sound well, then she actually gets nothing. She'll just sound well and then be on her merry way. And literally this film goes for like 3 hours, and that's literally the whole film. It's just consistent voice training. There's a great sequence where they go to the races. I was a big fan of that. I'm like, this is excellent. It's got great set design, great costuming, and you know, it's got extras, all that kind of shit. But the rest of the film is just them like, I don't know, doing weird songs about sound, and I'm like, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of it.
The rain in Spain moves plainly in the main.
That's another thing. The songs are mostly shit and generic, in my opinion.
There's some good songs in this. There's like, I can name 3 good songs in this that I like.
Before everyone goes into the musical, that's the one song everyone would know. Like,
Dance Till Night.
Dance Till Night.
Get Me to the Church on Time is a good time.
Yeah, that's fun. Actually. I had a fun time with that one.
And oh no, I'd say there's 4. So there's the first song she sings as well, like, oh, wouldn't it be lovely? All I want is a room summer, ba ba ba. And I like.
Oh my god!
And I like.
I thought Brenton was just about to pass out then, but no, he was just mimicking the cough in this film.
No, I was actually coughing, and then I thought I'd turn it into.
Oh, okay.
It was a real cough, and then the next minute it was a fake cough.
Okay, if that cough was unpleasant for you listeners, you can't imagine the shit that Audrey Hepburn does in this movie. Like, like seriously, it feels like such a traditional musical, doesn't it? Like, this is like your like full bars.
Think so. I don't think this is a traditional musical at all. I've never thought My Fair Lady. Yeah, I think it's more of like a play, like a play with a few songs thrown in.
Yeah,
for me, it's very like. It's like a long-form play with some songs thrown in. I've never really... It's a musical, but there's a lot of fucking scenes in this show.
Too many as well. Way too many, yeah. And like, here's a weird thing about this, with like the songs as well. Like, it's so obviously dubbed. Like, that's the thing. Because like, it goes from these scenes where they're chatting, like you said, like it's all a play. And then the second the music starts, they're so obviously lip-syncing, like bad lip-syncing.
I know, right? Yeah.
And you think like for a movie musical that won Best Picture and like was made in the golden era of musicals, they would have dubbed it better.
I'm pretty sure it won something for sound design as well and sound editing,
which is atrocious. That's like a Bohemian Rhapsody editing atrocious. It's like, what are you doing?
By the way, speaking of Bohemian Rhapsody, there's this amazing clip on YouTube, and I'm sorry, but I can't remember off the top of my head the channel that. Made this video.
Is it the one with all the cuts?
Yeah, it's the one where basically like the editor from Bohemian Rhapsody wins the award, but but the speech and the
Oh, that's
Infinity
right.
Award is edited in the same way that Bohemian Rhapsody was edited, and it is hilarious.
It's so funny.
It's so
It's
funny.
so stupid. Oh,
But yes,
they
anyway.
you know they interviewed him about that. They're like, you know, the internet's giving you shit for this, and he's like, yeah, but you know, the director was fired, and I had to make some quick decisions, so it's a miracle the film got edited in the first place.
That's right. Like, I think he got a bad deal, which turned into a pretty good deal. But
I mean, obviously got an Oscar for his work, so
that's
he was
what I
happy
mean.
with
But
it,
like, yeah, like the director got fired, and then he's just kind of left there with all this stuff to, like, you know, kind of thread together a film out of, you know, which he did. But like, I can't say it's great.
No, it's still atrocious. Even when you sit down and watch the film, like, because you never notice editing, but like, I noticed editing when I saw that film. I'm like, this is weird. Like,
Well,
because it's such a nothing scene as well. It's just like Littlefinger just chatting to them about, you gotta be the best band ever. And then they're just like, what?
I just feel like good editing, you shouldn't notice good editing, even if it's like a Scorsese film, like The Wolf of Wall Street, where the editing is, you know, front and center. Like, at the same
It's
time,
the fire emoji, frankly.
I never watch like those films that have the flashy editing, and like my mind is just on the editing the whole time. So Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, is like a perfect example of something that's like over edited, sure, because of the context of how it was made, but it still doesn't make it good. Another film that came out recently that I really didn't agree with the nomination for its editing and thought it was a bit shit was actually I, Tonya.
Oh, really?
I was just like, whoa, calm the fuck down.
Like, what was wrong with Itonya's editing?
Oh, it was similar to Bo Rap, or like it was trying to be The Wolf of Wall Street, and it was distracting.
Do you reckon Margot Robbie just went into the editing room? She's like, I want this film to be like my other film, The Wolf of Wall Street.
Potentially, I just feel like it was.
She was still in character as Tonya Harding, like.
It's just the thing. It's like the artistry behind it. I feel like it's not actually serving the story. And as soon as like I'm thinking the whole time, about the editing, it's like straight away you've lost me.
Yeah, it's like, it's true. That's why everyone loves this podcast, Brenton, because you can never notice when I edit the audio to sound dramatically better. Oh goodness! So Brenton, what are you going to give this film? Is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down musical? Like, think about the Thursday night. Like, who do we market this for? Like,
fucking hell.
Because my mindset is that if you love musicals, you'll love this. And like, is it worth your time? I don't know. Because I love this movie, but I'm trying to think if it's worth your time. Because it's not really in pop culture that much. Like, it's not referenced. We're going to feel FOMO if you don't know about it. Like, I'm on the fence.
Not anymore. I mean, like, probably the generation before ours knew more about it. But
yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, so I was watching this the other day, and one of my housemates' parents came around to visit, and he saw that I was watching My Fair Lady, and he was so elated that I was watching My Fair Lady because he was British, and he was like, "Oh, I love this scene with Higgins. Oh, this warms me bloody heart because I'm bloody British. Oh, blessy Queen Elizabeth, I does." Like, he was so happy about it. And I'm like, this film must mean so much to the British people who just like really get around other accents and making fun of other accents. So like, I don't know.
Before we vote on it, can I just bring up one more thing?
Go for it.
Do you like Rex Harrison as Higgins? His performance?
No, because that man is way too old for what he needs to be. Like,
interesting. Because he won the Oscar for this, I'm pretty sure.
He did win the Oscar, and Audrey Hepburn wasn't even nominated, which is abysmal.
Who won that year, though? I feel like that was a strong year in the female category. Anyway, while you're saying that, I will give my vote. Look,
yeah.
I don't know. This is a really tough one. Look,
I know. I'm on the fence so much.
Yeah, look, I'll say if you like musicals, this is worth a watch.
I feel like on a Thursday night, would you want to sit down and watch the musical My Fair Lady? Like,
to be honest, no, I wouldn't. And there's other musicals I'd like to watch over this, but at the same time, like, I think this, like, it's still enjoyable, and like I still had a good time watching it.
Look, we still haven't given a thumbs up to a musical yet on this podcast with West Side and Cats. And like, we do love musicals. Like, I really love this one. And like, I feel like I actually am going to give this a thumbs up because I feel like people should learn about phonetics. That's the reason I'm going to put it in. Just so they can learn the exercises he makes poor Audrey Hepburn go through. I think there is a lesson in this film that is quite sweet about like classism and all that kind of stuff, because it does say a little bit about it. So
Yeah.
for that reason, I'm going to say watch My Fair Lady. I'm flipping on the side of the fence that says yay. I don't know. I feel like it's a fun time.
I'm just thinking of the Thursday night.
I mean, if you love flowers, you're going to love this movie. They had like $1 billion flower budget. Like,
Yeah, look, I'll give it a thumbs up.
hey,
Yeah.
he's on the side of the good. He's loving My Fair
my
Lady.
gut was to give it a thumbs up. It's just at the same time I'm like, ooh, do I actually want to watch
I
this on
know.
a Thursday night? And there's
Do
so
not
many,
watch this if this is your first musical.
yeah, and there's other musicals that I could just suggest to watch like over this.
Yeah. Singing in the Rain, Sound of Music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even Oliver, like I think
Oliver's great.
Yeah,
I love
it's better
Oliver.
song than this. Yeah.
Love it as a kid. Any of the Disney musicals, they're all good. Give them a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shall we spoil this, Brenton? Let's just spoilers.
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 Spoiling the
Let's
movie.
Spoil this movie, My Fair Lady. She's a fair lady, my fair lady, yeah.
Dumbledore dies. The Matrix is a program.
Vader's Luke's
Haley
father.
Joel Osment could see dead people all along. It's a spoiler section today.
That's not bad.
Dun, dun, dun. Thank you. That's my contribution to the song. I'm sorry for people who wanted to know the spoilers.
All right,
Anyway.
let's get into
Okay,
this.
I have the nominees, Brenton. So this is where we're going to start the spoiler section.
Cool.
So Oscars 1965, what an event. We've got the biggest name in cinema. We've got Lee Marvin at the movies. We've got Robert Wise. We've got Dr. Zhivago was celebrated at these Oscars. We had another film called The Chicken, which won Best Short Subject Live Action. But enough about all these iconic movies from the 1965. Okay, Best Actress. The woman who did win it was Julie Christie for the film Darling. Have you heard of this film?
No.
Have you heard of this actress? I'm so sorry. I have no idea who this is. And I feel like I should if she won Best Actress. Who is this woman? Julie Christie. I'm going to look her up. Okay, Julie Christie. Who is this? Okay, she's an icon of the swinging London era of the 1960s. What has she done? Oh! She was in Dr. Zhivago. There you go. What else has she been in? Nope, that's it. Wait, what? She was in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, this woman who won Best Actress.
Who did
As-
she play?
Madame Rosmerta. Who's Madame Rosmerta? Okay, I'm looking this up. Who's Madame Rosmerta?
That sounds familiar, dude.
Oh, she's the landlady of the Three Broomsticks pub. Oh, so that scene in Prisoner of Azkaban where Harry's under the cloak and he's like spying on all the teachers, she must be
Yeah.
the woman who's running that.
Yeah, that random fucking woman that's like, do you remember that scene where it's like,
Oh, yeah, where
Liz Fudge and McGonagall and her, and she's like, oh, and she's like, and it's like, yeah, totally, I remember her, and I remember
Isn't
thinking,
that where like where Ron and Hermione get shooed out of the pub because they're underage and the
Yeah, it's
little
like,
shriveled head is like, get out!
Get the fuck out of here! And Harry's just like in there sucking on his lollipop that like is floating in the air.
Oh my god, that's
What a
so funny.
dickhead! How is he licking that? Like, how is he licking that?
Yeah, because he's under the cloak, so
You'd
like,
see this tongue like in midair licking a lollipop.
which is the most feral thing you can imagine seeing.
Come on.
It's so bad. Like I always found that scene so confusing because then Daniel Radcliffe, he finds out the truth about Sirius Black and he goes onto like this fucking hill where Ron and Hermione are about to hook up and then he's just like,
he was their friend.
he was their friend.
And
Like
then
he goes like full Eddie Redmayne.
He does. He was their friend. He was their friend.
I remember as a child sitting in the cinema going, "What the fuck, Harry? What are you on?"
And then he proceeds to say, "Fucking, I'm going to like murder this motherfucker." Like,
yeah, and Ron and
you're
Hermione like throwing snowballs, like, "Oh, probs don't."
they're all like, This isn't out of character.
Yeah, Harry, you should save this for Order of the Phoenix, not Prisoner of Azkaban. But you know who was nominated for Oscar as well this year? Julie Andrews for Sound of Music.
That's the one. I knew that sounded. I thought this was the year of Sound of Music, and that.
And by the way, she didn't win. Julie Christie won for Darling instead.
I know, and I've always thought that this was the year that Julie Andrews should have won. Even though she'd won before for Mary Poppins, she should have snatched up that second Oscar for The Sound of Music. WTF.
You know what would have been interesting? If she had done both Sound of Music and My Fair Lady, she probably would have been nominated twice or something like that for the Oscars.
I totally would have done Sound of Music over My Fair Lady, though. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, 100%. Much more iconic.
Hills are alive
With with the sound of Audrey Hepburn's Cockney accent.
With the sound of dubstep.
I've always thought that. Okay, here's an idea for a musical. Imagine a musical but with dubstep. Do you reckon that would work?
Probs.
I'm waiting for someone to do it. Someone in what's it called? Broadway. Someone in Broadway. Can you please make one? I want to see it.
I mean, like, anything's possible. I mean, like, Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote Hamilton, which is, like, all rap. Like,
that's true. I'm amazed that no one had done that before. Like, no wonder it got so big. Like, it's such an iconic musical. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Have you seen Hamilton? Or, like,
I haven't seen it
the
live,
soundtrack,
but I've
like,
listened to the soundtrack. It's great.
Nice.
It's bloody great.
Nice.
Bloody great.
Bloody great. Anyway, back to
let's
My
spoil
Fair
this
Lady.
fucking movie. So let's talk about some of the songs.
Yes. I love I Could Have Danced All Night. Like, I was so on board by that point. There was like the first half an hour I wasn't on board, but then I think when she started with Higgins, I was like, this is great and the song is excellent.
Yeah, totally. That's such a solid song. And like I said, Get Me to the Church on Time is
it's so much fun.
It's just fun. It's fun.
Can we talk about her father?
Yeah, like that's yeah. Totally.
I love this character. He's
Yeah,
one of my
same here.
favorite characters in this movie. He's such good value.
I love how he he's so upset that he's become like a middle class man too. Like,
I
like,
love that story arc.
Yeah.
It's so weird because at the start of the film he weirdly tries to like pimp his daughter out.
Yep.
Like he finds out she's a Higgins and like rather than finding out she's been kidnapped or something like that, he rocks up. He's like, "Oh, you wash my daughter? Or you go for her? Does it?" Like, I'm like, what? And then she finds him later on in like this amazing suit, this shitty suit. And she's like, "Father?" And he's like, "Don't talk to me, Elijah. I'm middle class now." Like, it's so good.
it's so funny. Like,
It's so good.
I love. I really enjoyed that character and kind of his arc, I guess, in the movie. Like, it's so.
I love how much he hates being the middle class. Like, he's like, "Oh, it was just so easy being poor. It was like."
I know.
I
like,
love
it's
it.
so funny. Like, and then it goes into that song, and it's a good time.
It's just a great time. I feel like if I was doing a musical, if I was performing My Fair Lady, that's the musical number I would have loved the most to perform. Because it's just...
Get me to the church on time.
Can you please sing that the day you get married? Like, when I go to your...
getting married in the morning.
Morning. Oh, yeah. When we do your bachelor party or whatever, I'm going to make sure we sing that. Like...
Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime.
It'd be so funny if like he sang that at his bachelor party and it was just like strippers and all that kind of stuff, but he was still singing this song like "Get me to the church in the morning," and it's just naked women are running all about him like
"Get me to the church on time." Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I think everyone brought their A game in this. You know what I really noticed in this, like what characters were on their A game for this? The extras. This is some of my favorite extras.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
because they're
for
great.
sure.
I love how they freeze. Like, there's a great opening sequence where they all just freeze about, and also at the races. Like, speaking of the races, I was head over heels for that whole sequence.
That sequence is great, and like how like climaxes with like her when she like starts like cheering for the horse. Like,
oh my god,
fuck, it's great.
and I love their reactions when she finally cheers the horse because she just like it's a horse runs past. She's like, what did she say? She's like, yeah, go for it. Like,
yeah, and the reactions are just
the reactions are like, it's so good. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, how dare she? I feel like that one squeal wouldn't have like ruined an event. You know what I mean? Like,
but this is a different time though. Like, and when you're dealing with an upper class at this time, it's like, ooh, what?
I laughed the hardest in this race sequence when she started speaking her ghetto talk, like to the posh people.
Yeah.
She's like, and then like, he was addicted to the bottle. He guzzled it down. Like, she's like telling this like really dark backstory about her parents' addiction and how she lost her mother. And then they're all like, do go on. Like, they're being I love it.
Yes. How very interesting. Yes.
Yeah. And like, I love the vocabulary she chooses for it. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a great scene, that whole
it's
sequence.
so good. I love it so much. It's so good. Like, there's great moments like this, but then there's so much dumb shit in this movie. Can I talk about the bath scene, Brenton?
Yes.
Because there's a scene where she rocks up to this rich ass house, which is amazing, by the way. It's like this beautiful old English house, and like the maids like attack her, and they try and get her into this bath. And I don't know what they put in this bath, but this thing is steaming like a Japanese onsen. Like there's like the steam that comes off this bath. Were you noticing this? There's like gallons of it. There's just steam that fogs up the entire room. I'm like, what what temperature is this?
To be fair, this is England we're in, so maybe it's like just lukewarm, and it's like. I'm kidding.
I've been in snowy Japan.
Yeah.
I was in snowy Japan. We went to the onsen baths where they're like 70 degrees or some shit like that, and even then the steam was nothing compared to like.
Oh, it's pretty
what's going
insane,
on
and
here.
obviously they've put some effects in or something that like. I don't know, like some smoke machines or something to like emphasize this steam, but it's like they've gone overboard, and now it's just like,
It's
holy
ludicrous.
fuck! Are you like boiling her alive? Like, holy shit!
That's what and it's also funny because I feel like one guy on set just had the steam machine. He's like, "Fuck it, let's just like steam the entire set out." Because it cuts to like Rex Tillerson, and like he's just standing there like in his lounge room, and he just hears like these like screams of hers from like the bathroom. He's like, "Hey, yeah, this sounds normal." Like, it's so weird.
It's so weird, yeah.
Like, it's like they're like attacking her. It's so uncomfortable. I like to think that like it should have turned into a horror film. Like the musical should have segued into this like horror film where suddenly like the maids start dropping.
Yeah, and then she like has to like escape. Like she's like trying to get out of the house. But like also like the other option is like it's a horror film that just like ends badly, and like you just hear this screams, and he's like, I like the sound of them screaming, and then it just like goes to like credits. Like, holy
Oh my
fuck.
god! It's revealed that like he's actually like a murderer that just uses the phonetics thing as a front, and so he just traps poor people in their house, alleging that they could get better. See, this could so work as a horror film, couldn't it?
It probably could, to be honest. Like,
It could work so well. There were so many moments where it could segue into horror. Like there was another moment that okay. And another moment that would work so good for horror as well is when they come back from the ball and they don't acknowledge her at all.
Yeah.
And she is so upset. I really wish that the whole third act of this movie was just her suddenly murdering everyone. Just like, because she talks about killing Higgins at one point. She even sings a song about it. So like the third act should have just been like she goes to the ball, she passes, but then everyone doesn't like her, so she just gets her revenge.
Yeah, totally. That'd be There's many options for horrific moments.
How shit was that scene though? Like where she was
I was gonna
ignored by
say
everyone?
like when she's just it's like what the fuck is going on here? Come on, guys.
They were so unnecessarily mean. It's like they didn't acknowledge her once, and I love the fruit of that is this amazing confrontation scene between Eliza and Higgins, where she just goes to town on him. She's like, "You've been a piece of shit to me for months," and she just gives him it all, and he's so stubborn and he doesn't change. That's one thing I hate about Higgins in this movie. He just doesn't change at all.
No, not really, does he? I think that the only point of realization he has is that he actually like enjoys her company and kind of like that she's had a profound effect on his life, which is like literally like one of the last scenes, if not the last scene.
Yeah. I despise that it turned into a romantic plot.
Yeah.
I'm like, it should not have worked like that. That's like Stockholm Syndrome. I was like, I'm not a fan of this.
I feel like
also, he's like 20 years older than her.
I feel like that like he needs to be younger. Like they need to be youngerly cast. But like,
if it was like a Laurence Olivier or like a bloody, I don't know, a hot young actor of that time that was opposite her, then maybe I'd believe it. But like,
she's 35 in this film as well. Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, isn't that? But what is she? 21? She's supposed to be 21.
Playing like 20, I think, or 20. or 19 even. I think maybe. But like, she's 35.
That's amazing. Like, I tell you what. After seeing Audrey Hepburn and Tiffany's and now this, like, what an actress! Like,
yeah, seriously,
makes every film better. Every film better indeed.
Can we talk about the scene where the famous song? The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. But like, I'm bringing that up because how she suddenly speaks like amazingly well.
Oh,
and like
it comes out of nowhere.
It just like clicks something in her brain, like something that's wired in her brain, just suddenly
it's never
snaps,
explained.
and then suddenly she's this amazing using this amazing British RP.
Because I thought it would have come much later in the film, but because I thought, she'll start speaking good and it'll be right before the ball happens. But then she's doing some weird ass contraption where she's like blowing fire into a spinning mirror, and there's all these fucking weird things that have nothing to do with phonetics.
And like
Did they consult anyone in phonetics for this movie? I feel like they just made up shit that they think is about phonetics.
That machine is so funny because then she lights that paper on fire. And then someone the other guy like recognizes it in the room, and then like Higgins kind of is like not focused on it, and then she just kind of like sits there and is like, oh, like with this like flaming piece of paper, and
she's
it's like
fire.
It's just like,
she just burns down the house. She's like, now I'm the fair lady. Like,
Holy shit.
It's just got such good horror potential. Fuck me. It's great. I love it though when she's like, she's practicing to speak well and he's about to feed her and he feeds the bird instead of her and she's so upset.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Her faces in these films are so fucking funny. She pulls the funniest faces in this.
Her stare of disbelief is the best when she's always like,
oh my god. Oh yeah, that exact thing. Like when he says to her, you know, like, do your vows or there'll be no chocolates. And then she just pulls the saddest face. Like, she must be like 5 years old in this movie. She acts like a child. Like, it's so stupid. Especially when she's dressed in that weird ass dress when she first comes out of the bath.
oh my god,
yeah. I laughed so much in this movie, but that was something else when because she just looks so miserable and she's dressed like a 7-year-old about to go to school in like the 1890s. Oh, it's so funny. I'm just imagining Audrey Hepburn unburned, just like looking at her costume design, going, "Oh yeah, the ball dress is great." And so she looks at this one, she's like, "Fuck me!" Like,
That's so
I don't want to wear this. You know who one of my favorite characters in this movie is? It's the mother of
my
Rex
god,
Tillerson.
yes. I was about to bring this all
She
up.
is
Yeah.
amazing. I thought I loved like the father, but the mother is even better. I wish Audrey's father got with his mother because that's a couple. Okay, who should have kissed in this movie? Those two should have kissed because that would have been amazing.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's revealed he goes to the wedding. He's getting married in the morning, and then it ends up being like Rex's mother.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Could you imagine? Because you don't meet the father. You don't meet Higgins' father. So, like, that would have been so good.
Get to the church on time.
She reminds me so much of Judi Dench because she just doesn't take any shit.
Fun fact, actually, about that role is that so recently there was a Broadway revival of My Fair Lady. So they revived the show and it looked really good. I wish I could have seen it. But that role, the role of the mother, was played by Diana Rigg.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have killed to see her do this. That would have been so good.
Yeah, it's man, like this is one of the members of the cast you're just like, oh wow, like that is just like perfect casting. Yeah,
that's amazing. Could you imagine she's like sitting with Eliza Doolittle at the races, and she leans into her and she's like, "Tell Cersei it was me. I want her to know." and Eliza Hepburn's like, "What?" And she's like,
well, "What's that other line she says?
Joffrey.
What she says about Joffrey? Like that other line, like, "Oh, Joffrey's." I'm pretty sure she calls.
She drops some C-bombs.
Pretty sure she calls him a C-bomb. Like, and it's just like, you're just like, Diana.
Diana Rigg. She's amazing. Oh, I love her so much. Because we did the Bond film she was in. Didn't we? Yeah. What was it? You Only Live Twice? Was that the one she was in?
No, she was. Was she? No, she was. She was. No, she wasn't. You Only Live Twice. I don't know. It's all blurred.
I know all the Bond films. They're. Oh yeah, because next week it's another 5-week month. So guess what we're doing next week, Brenton?
Oh, what are we doing?
We're going back to Bond.
Woohoo! Can't
Maybe we'll
wait
find
for
one that we love.
Can't wait.
But that mother, I love it when he meets his mother at the races and like she immediately is just like, "Could you fuck off?" She's like, "Could you go away? Don't bring anyone here. Leave the races immediately." She's like, "But mama," and she's like, "No, get out." And then when Eliza like runs away, she goes to the mother's house and the mother's like, "He's been a very naughty boy."
It reminds me of the same dynamic of the fairy godmother and the prince from Shrek 2.
It does. Oh my god, that's such a good comparison, Brent. Well done. It really is.
I love that scene in Shrek 2. Like I've seen Shrek 2 once in my life, and that was at the cinema when I saw it when it was out.
What?
And
I've seen this film like literally 10 times.
And everyone loves Shrek 2, and I love Shrek 2, but it's like I just don't have that immediate. But what's weird about it, I saw it the one time and I remember like every scene from it. So the scene where they go through like the drive-through.
The drive-through?
Fucking hell.
Oh my god. I lost my shit in the cinema, especially at that moment. Where the king is sitting between those two henchmen and you think he's about to get murdered, and then she's like, "Oh, what?" And then it's like, welcome to the fire. What would you like with your order?" And then Prince Charming gets like a toy. It's like a giant
he gets
axe.
like a Happy Meal. Like it's like hilarious. Yeah, and they give him the axe. That's right. Yeah, that's so funny. It's so good. Like
I love it. And like the fairy godmother is like threatening the king, but as she's doing it, she's having like some McFries and she's dipping it like as she's threatening him.
And she's like, and she's
so
got it.
funny.
She's like, oh man, it's grand.
And Prince Charming is wearing like one of those like takeaway crowns, like from the box.
Yes.
Like one of those like Hungry Jack's Burger King. Like, I love it. It's so good.
So funny.
God. So funny. Oh, I love it. You know who my heart melted for in this film?
Who?
the guy with the flowers.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, as soon as he meets her at the races and he falls head over heels, I'm like, I so ship them. I'm like, he reminds me so much of. Do you know who Dan Stevens is?
Yep.
Yeah, he reminds me so much of Dan Stevens from Downton, or even like what's that Disney film he did, Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, he's the Beast. That's right. Yeah. He reminds me so much of him. Like, he's just this good guy who just recognizes Eliza's situation. He's like, let's just be mates. And then I love that he spends the whole film just standing outside a fucking house like a stalker.
I know, right? And yeah.
And it's revealed because like you forget about him because like halfway through the film he's like, oh, I'll go see Eliza. And she tells him to go away. And then like maybe 40 minutes pass and she leaves the house and he's still there.
I know, right?
Like, I was laughing so much. I wish that they cut to him more in the musical. Like, even on the stage musical, like, when he says he'll wait outside her house, literally in the stage show, they should just have him stand on the side of the stage, just patiently waiting during all this stuff.
Fucking the whole show. That would be awesome, hey?
That would be so funny. And then when she finally agrees to hang out with him, everyone just cheers so he can just finally leave his spot on the stage where he gets to do something.
I like his song too. I think he's got a good song.
Oh yeah, I loved his song too. He's just so sweet. Like when he brings the flowers and she says no, my heart broke, Brenton. I was like, oh, you just feel for the guy. Like, oh, he's so great. I love him so much.
Let's talk about the ending of this film, and specifically like the last scene.
Oh my goodness. It wasn't a bloody Breakfast at Tiffany's ending, was it? There was no Goose the Cat.
No.
Although I wish there was Goose the Cat.
No, I wish there was Goose the Cat. But no, he goes home, he starts listening to like some recordings and he's reminiscing and going, oh, maybe she has had a great impact on my life.
Maybe I was a piece of shit to her and I should have treated her better.
And then she walks in behind him and then weirdly says something in a Cockney accent, and then he asks her to get his slippers and puts his hat over his head. But he still has like a look of satisfaction and is like, Eliza's back. And then the film just ends. That's the end.
I hated the ending. I thought it was so anticlimactic, and I thought she shouldn't have gone back. Because she has this, that's the thing I hate about this movie. She's such a powerful scene where she's like, you know what? You've been treating me like shit for so long. I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to marry this nice guy who loves me just because I'm me. I'm going to teach people to be, fair ladies, all that kind of stuff. And she walks away. She storms out of the house. The mother's like, good on her. And she has this amazing, like, strong, brave moment. And then she just sidles up next to him in the house and the film just cuts without any explanation why.
Yeah. Yep.
I really didn't like it. I think they could have ended the film, like, with her storming out and that's the end of the musical.
Yeah. It could totally have, like that Gone with the Wind ending, where like she just like
that would have been great too.
Yeah, like she just like leaves. It was just like, frankly, my Higgins, I don't give a damn. Oh, sorry, frankly, my Higgins, I don't give a damn.
I don't give a damn, my Dash. It's like, Eliza, you're just being silly. She's like, no. I've buried enough members of my own family.
Never.
See, Michael Caine would have been kicking around by the time this musical was out. So, like, he should have been in it.
He should have been Eliza Doolittle.
I would have killed to see Michael Caine. Like, he's wearing some weird-ass wig and, like, he's in this ball gown. Like, he's just dancing around. Like, what did it be? Oh, I want to see this so bad now. Like, it would have been so great.
I could have danced all night.
Because Brenton, the plot of this film is like almost identical to Cinderella. Now that I think about it, like,
yeah, true. I guess
poor background, has to go to the ball, meet a prince, impress, goes from rags to riches, all that kind of stuff. Like all I needed was Michael Caine just at the end having a slipper being put on his foot. Actually, now I think about it, I just want Michael Caine in as the female lead of every musical. Now I think about it, could you imagine like Maria von Trapp is like spinning around on the hill and it's revealed it's like she finally stops spinning and it's Michael Caine's face.
There's a sad sort of clanging from the clocks and the halls and the bells in the steeple too, and up in the nursery an absurd little birdie's popping out to say cuckoo. I'm Michael Caine. I on a hill was a lonely goatherd, lady or a lady or a lady ooh. Soon her mamma with a gleaming gloat heard, lady or loo.
Tea, a drink of jam and bread. Actually, yeah, I think I will go for some tea because I'm Michael Caine.
I might have a spot of tea, yeah. That'll bring us back to dough. Oh. Dough a deer.
A deer.
A female deer. Oh God, good Lord. I feel like this is a good point.
Brenton, I want to.
Should
we segue should we segue to a new segment of the show that we introduced last time?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, I forget what we called this, but today we're going to call it The Picture. We gave it a really good name, but I'm forgetting. But I want to point out a picture from this movie, Brenton, that I screenshotted.
Yes, I'm looking at this image right now, yeah.
Okay, so I'll have to describe it well for our audio listeners, considering this is an audio medium. So early on in the film, there's like a part where like there's like a wide shot on the markets. And out of everything in this film, this is what I wanted to talk about. So there's like a wide shot on the markets. It's in the morning or late at night. I can't really tell because it's a soundstage. And like you see all these like carts go by and all these people, with baskets of bread, like all that kind of stuff. It's very dark and dour. But in the middle of this wide shot where you see the whole markets, there's one person in the center who's carrying like 15 pots, and they're all stacked on top of each other, and he gets to like the market where the roof arrives, and the pots just whack against the roof, and it's the dumbest shit you've ever seen in cinema, because he's like there's this one like poor marketplace guy that's struggling to hold 15 pots all stacked on top of each other, and there's literally no way he can get it under the roof to the marketplace.
I just counted them all. There's 15.
Oh my god. Like, why are you carrying pots like that? Like, how the hell is that not falling over? Because this is a busy marketplace. This is a full bazaar. And he's just like, I love it. And like, because what happens, this is the funniest thing about the shot. So the shot is like, you see the marketplace, the guy's walking to the roof, and then it cuts as soon as he arrives at the roof. So you never find out how he got those pots to the marketplace.
It's, maybe we need a prequel story about this pot man.
Oh my god. I like to think that that's what Michael Caine was doing in this movie. Like, he was just trying to carry some pots, and because he never got them under the roof, he had nothing else to do with this movie.
Dude, that was a pretty good image. Good selection. Like, I wouldn't have picked that one, but I'm glad you did. You did.
I was gonna put on one of the faces of Audrey Hepburn, but I'm like, no, the pots thing makes me laugh way too much.
The pots is that's the pick, definitely. I like the three we've picked so far. So like the first one was many weeks ago, but it was
Don Cheadle.
his hairdo.
Which is still the best. It's still the best.
It still takes the cake. But then we went on last week to bloody the fruit salad, which is like the best thing as well.
Oh my god.
And now this week with the pots.
So
the pots
good.
is just grand as well. Like every week, this is my new favorite
This
segment.
is going to be my new favorite segment.
Definitely.
Like,
Definitely.
we have to make sure we do a very good job describing it. What I might do is I might put the picture in the YouTube image. So when we upload the podcast to YouTube, I might make some space and put this photo in there. So if audience members want to see what we're looking at, they can look at that.
Sure thing. Yeah. Or maybe we can post it on our Twitter as well after when we announce each episode.
Yeah. Tweet us your favorite screenshots from My Fair Lady.
Yeah. So Nathan, I have a question.
Yes.
How did they make this making movies? Yeah.
How did they make this? Breton, how did they make this movie?
Dude, I will tell you exactly how they made this movie. So there's a lot of fucking facts that like
there are a lot.
And
of
I'm
facts
looking at
about
yours,
this.
and I'm
all
looking
these
at
beautiful
mine,
things,
and I'm going, yeah. Some of them cross over, but like there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about these old musicals is that they're extremely well documented. So there's a lot of fun stories that have come out of this.
So
do you want to start with the casting?
I was going to start with the dubbing. I was actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's worth talking about.
And like, I think you've got some more on this as well, like a different fact. That I have one on Audrey Hepburn, who was basically she was informed. she went into this with the intention that she was going to sing, and her voice was going to be
as one would hope.
And
by the way, she can sing, can't she? Like she
was just informed that her vocals were not up to par, and she would be dubbed in the film. So when Audrey Hepburn was first informed that her voice wasn't strong enough and that she would have to be dubbed, she just walked out. She returned the next day and, in a typically graceful Hepburn gesture, apologized to everybody for her wicked behavior.
See, she shouldn't have. Like, I mean, walking out on set is a dick move, regardless of what's happening, because, like, you're holding up production and you're, like, halting everyone's works and jobs. But, like, at the same time, it's kind of shit that they didn't outline that to her before she started the job. Like, she didn't read the contract where you said, oh, you'll be dubbed.
Yeah. Though I think it was added. Like, I think it was just the thing that they just decided. I don't know how. Obviously, she wasn't. Because. So this is continuing on. Audrey Hepburn later admitted she would never have accepted the role of Eliza Doolittle if she had known that producer Jack L. Warner intended to have nearly all of her singing dubbed. After making My Fair Lady...
One of the Warner brothers.
After making My Fair Lady, Hepburn resolved not to appear in another film musical unless she could do the singing on her own. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's why she didn't sing in Breakfast at Tiffany's. That was actually a musical, but they just like, oh, we can't get her to sing,
like,
so we have to cut the
shit.
musical numbers.
What are we going to do? Mickey Rooney's...
Actually, now that I think about it, Breakfast at Tiffany's would make a great musical.
a great musical, yeah.
That would really work well.
I was about to say that... Oh God, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, like, could you imagine, like, oh yeah, like Mickey, like originally it was like a musical, and then it's like, oh, we've changed it now. God damn it, we recorded all those great Mickey Rooney songs from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh my God. If they could have made that film any more racist, it would have been Mickey Rooney doing a musical number. Oh my goodness.
Do you have any facts?
I do. So speaking of dubbing, Rex Harrison, he declined to record his musical numbers for the film because he never talked his way through the songs the same way twice. So he couldn't lip sync. He was like, your lip syncing for this movie is going to be shit. I don't want to do it. So, Jack Warner, one of the Warner Brothers, was like, okay, how do we fix this? Because, we're not going to get him to do it. So they ended up like getting a wireless microphone, and it was the first, and they attached it to him like in the set so they could record him on the actual set. And because they said, okay, we need to get a wireless microphone on him, it was the first ever use of a wireless microphone during the filming of a movie. And because of that, the sound department won an Oscar for it.
Wow.
Just because he was being very stubborn.
Wow.
I know. And speaking of Oscars, this film did extremely well as a musical. So, like, it was made for $17 million, but it made $70 million. So,
wow.
Made a bunch of money, and it won 8 Oscars. It won Best Picture, Director, Actor, Cinematography, Sound Adaptation, Art Direction, Costume Design. But yeah, Audrey wasn't nominated.
Wow. It's crazy, isn't it?
And by I say, the costume design is outstanding in this
definitely.
movie, especially at the races.
Definitely,
like,
yeah.
Some of the best costumes I've seen in cinema. Like, well done.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think like the production design and the costume design are like top notch, for sure. It looks incredible. Audrey Hepburn apparently believed that Julie Andrews should have played Eliza Doolittle in the film, but was told by Jack Warner that she wouldn't be cast even if Audrey turned the role down. Andrews said that she threw a few tantrums when she learned that she wouldn't be playing Eliza in the film, and yet she got along very well with Hepburn without holding a grudge against her, whom she knew was an innocent party in the whole thing.
Oh, there you
Dude,
go.
this whole this whole thing was like it just sounds like the biggest like thing, like this whole casting of not casting Julie Andrews. And
I know it sucks that like this follows like Audrey Hepburn around, because the reason I did some research, the reason Julie Andrews didn't do it is because she played it on Broadway, but she was denied the role because the producers didn't think she was a known enough actress yet, because she hadn't done anything big yet. Like, Sound of Music was made at the same time as this, so like she wasn't that famous, and Poppins came out the year after, so like she wasn't unknown.
Well,
and they wanted to get a name actress.
Speaking of Poppins, Walt Disney offered to delay filming on Mary Poppins 1964 until the summer of until the summer. If Julie Andrews was cast as Eliza. Wow,
that's a uncharacteristic move of Disney to
Andrews
do that.
ended up winning Best Actress at the 37th Academy Awards for Poppins, while Audrey Hepburn wasn't even nominated for the film version of Eliza.
That is ludicrous that she wasn't nominated. But then again, the Oscars would have been an Audrey versus Julie kind of scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they were doing it to avoid the feud.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got a fun fact for you. The phrase "the rain in Spain" is actually wrong, Brenton. So when they say the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain, if you in actual Spain, that's not meteorologically correct. So every year when Spain's northern hills and mountains get much more rainfall than the plains to the south, so that phrase is actually incorrect.
Wow. Yeah, I had no idea about that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, gotta love your meteorology facts, Brenton. Also, one thing I love about this musical, this is another fun fact. Seth MacFarlane, who runs Family Guy and does the voice of Stewie Griffin, the baby in Family Guy. Yeah, that's an impression of Rex Harrison.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
Yeah. He based that whole character's voice and everything off Rex Harrison because in college, Seth MacFarlane worked up that impression in order to get girls. So he would try and whip out this voice to pick up girls, and then he's like, you know what? Let's just do this for Stewie. And, so that snobby British accent was very Higgins.
Interesting. That's really weird at the same time. Like, to think that was his intent of, like, how to get girls was to do the Stewie Griffin voice.
Could you imagine? You go out to, like, some club here. you go out to, like, the Argyle in Sydney, and you're like, Hello there. Do you think the rain in Spain falls on the plane? A girl would be like, what? Actually, I'm going to try this now. I'm going to see if this works, just for the laughs. I'm going to see.
I think we should do an experiment. I don't know. This sounds interesting.
Okay, can you and I both go out? We'll go out to I don't know, we'll go out to some bar in Sydney and we'll see if this works.
You do a Stewie Griffin impersonation and I'll do an Eliza Doolittle impersonation and we'll see how we both go.
Oh yes, what is it? Cool Whip. Cool Whip. I'll just do that at the bar.
Do you have any other facts?
I got one last fact. Rex Harrison, he almost wasn't cast as well because they had seen Cleopatra, the other film he was in, and they thought he looked too old to be Audrey Hepburn's love interest. By the way, they were right. He was too old to be her love interest. But anyway, Peter O'Toole, he was considered for the role of it, but because he was much younger, but his salary demands were too high.
Interesting. His salary demands were too high. Like, this whole casting process is so interesting, I find. Every time I hear about like films and, yeah, just that the dramas that go along with it. Yeah.
Drama!
Really interesting.
So, hey!
Hey!
Should we look at this film's poster?
Yeah, sure.
Let's look at it.
God. Oh, yeah. God.
Yeah.
God.
This is a... This is a mess of a poster, isn't it?
This is a tragedy. This is terrible.
This is a tragedy.
This is bloody terrible. Who thought this was a good
nightmare.
idea? You know what?
Yeah. It looks like someone's like done like a weird sketch. This is like some weird... This looks like a poster that we released today because it's this weird like a collection of characters from the movie. Like this weird kind of sketch of like Rex Harrison and Audrey Hepburn. But it looks as though someone's gotten a bucket of paint and just thrown it at the poster.
It looks shit.
It looks so bad. Everyone at home, if you never look up posters, please just look up this poster because it's just type in My Fair Lady poster into Google because it looks so bad. It's like this weird kind of like sketch of Audrey Hepburn like holding up an umbrella with Rex Harrison creepily behind her. Then all these like, I don't know, weird dresses and people like surrounding them in watercolor. And then it's just this swash of pink that just like covers the whole thing.
Rex Harrison looks like Jack Nicholson's Joker to begin with. Like
he does.
Like, bizarre.
He does.
All right, so now we've given the criticism.
How would we improve this poster?
Let's try and improve it.
it.
So I think all it needs to be, the Breakfast at Tiffany's poster, is just Audrey Hepburn in a ball gown.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need to be great.
Oh, no, it should have been one of Audrey Hepburn's weird faces when she goes, ah! Like, that's what should have been on the poster. Just like, and it should be My Fair Lady ? Like, will she be fair?
And if you want Rex Harrison in there, you can have him beside her, like, trying to, like, coach her or something. Like, just keep it simple.
Yeah.
This sucks. This is awful.
This sucks. Or maybe her, yeah. I should have said it should have been the ball gown dress, but then it might have been a spoiler for the poster. So maybe it should just be her with the flowers and like, I love that scene, by the way. I forgot to mention this before, where Higgins meets that guy from India and he's like, what are you doing here? What about by Joe? What are you doing here? Well, I'm the Higgins. I'm about to meet you in India, by Joe. I was going to meet you there. I love that scene so much. That's what it should have been. It should have been, the poster should have been these two guys just surprised that they're seeing each other. And they have their arms wide. They're like, hey.
That's so funny. Oh gosh.
And then Audrey Hepburn's like awkwardly between them, like holding out flowers.
Yeah, hey. So now we've established how terrible that poster is, and I think like we're both like keep it simple, just two main characters. That's fine. Let's pass the power to.
Wait, mate. Title talk. We got.
I thought the title. Sorry. Yes. Let's title talk. Title talk. Was there a fair lady in My Fair Lady? I gotta say.
I mean, she became a fair lady. She wasn't My Fair Lady though. Does it mean like Rex Harrison's fair lady? Is that who the My is?
Whose fair lady is she meant to be?
I mean, because you know how this is adapted off the play. What's it called? The Peningong.
Yeah.
You know, there's like it's a weird. Okay, look, the My Fair Lady is a better title than that Penguin Nugget title.
Clearly, you've demonstrated. You've demonstrated that. Yeah.
I have literally a Bachelor of Arts in both literature and theatre, and yet I still can't pronounce that play. So, just goes to show, My Fair Lady is still better as a title. But I even then think it's not a good title. What do you reckon would have been a better title, Brenton? You know what? What about Wouldn't It Be Lovely?
That's not a bad title. Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
I reckon
that's pretty good. But I don't mind My Fair Lady. Like, I don't think it's a shit title. I just want to know who Mai is. Whose fair lady she is. I'm still hung up on that question.
I know. I think there was a fair... even if she wasn't the fair lady, there were a lot of fair ladies in this film.
True.
Do they say it at one point? I'm trying to remember if they do say the words fair lady. I think they do at one point. There's a title drop.
I think they do, yeah.
That's how the film should have ended. She turns to the camera and she's like, no, now I will finally be my fair lady. And then just cuts to credits.
Yeah, like no music or anything. It's just my fair lady cut.
Yeah. It's Gary Oldman. It's like, London needs a silent guardian, a watchful protector, a my fair lady. And then it just cuts to black.
Oh, God.
Let's pass it to the people.
Power to the people. Let's pass it to the people. The power.
Pass it to the people.
Okay, so on the tomato meter, this currently stands with a
Tomato.
96%. Very high.
People like this movie, dude. I'm glad we gave it the thumbs
up.
And
the audience score is a 90%.
Universally loved Mr. Brenton. I had to dig for the Rotten Reviews, actually, to be honest with you.
Oh, you had to dig, did you?
So let's open it up.
With Dennis Schwartz from Oz's World Movie Reviews. One of Hollywood's best musicals.
Probably? I don't know.
I don't know if it's one of its best. Like, it's probably... It's around there. It'd be in the top 20.
Yeah, top 20 musicals. I don't even think I could name 20 musicals, but sure. It's definitely up there. Yeah, I agree, 100%. But I wouldn't recommend it as a first musical. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen a musical, though, to be honest with you.
I hope so.
I don't think this will... Okay, if you don't like musicals, this will not be the one that sways you, right?
No.
No, 100%. Roger Ebert, iconic reviewer from the Chicago Sun-Times, liked it a lot, gave it a 4 out of 4 and said, the best stage musical of all time and one of the most loved romances.
So here's the thing, Roger. I disagree with both points you make here. Yeah.
I agree. One of the most loved romances. He abuses her for the majority of the film. Like, there's not even sexual tension. I didn't get that until like the very end when he's like, ooh, maybe I do like My Fair Lady.
Maybe she
Rex
is
Harrison.
My Fair Lady. God, like we're never gonna stop saying this title now. Like it's so funny.
Yeah. We'll just say it in our private lives now. It's like, would you like some lunch, My Fair Lady? It's like,
yes, I would, My Fair Lady. What about you?
Angela Merkel did a speech on German nationalism. What a fair lady.
Vladimir P. gives this film 5 stars and says, I wasn't a fan of musicals at all.
Yes, because he's a
I'm
Russian.
an ancient.
He's a fan of action, adventure, and sci-fi fan.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Empire Strikes Back, but this film made me love a musical. I saw it in high school English class and I absolutely loved it. Funny, charming, joyful, and beautiful. It's a great film.
It is a great film. They love it in the
We
Russia.
kind of just said that, like, we disagree with this point, that we don't think it would be the best.
But there you go. Here's Brenton. Here's evidence right
exactly.
now.
So like
this
it is. Yeah, that's really interesting. So thanks, Vladimir Putin.
Yeah. It's the thing. Did Vladimir Putin does he secretly love this movie? Oh, could you imagine it just hard cuts to like the Kremlin or whatever it is, and he's just like in his little office and he's just watching My Fair Lady. He's like, wouldn't it be lovely? Oh wait, with a Russian accent, like, wouldn't it be lovely if I could corrupt Western politics? Like,
Jackson S gives this film 4.5 stars and says, my only complaint is that it frustrates me that Higgins doesn't really change. He doesn't learn anything. Higgins is a dick. Audrey Hepburn sends up to him. He has a slight change of heart, and then everything goes back to normal.
Thank you, Jackson S. I couldn't have said it better than myself.
Great picture as well of you and your golden retriever, I think that is, yeah.
I love that. Good on him. To be honest, if I was going to make a Rotten Tomatoes account, it'd probably just be the dog.
Yeah, totally.
I don't have a dog, but I'd find a dog just for the photo.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, he's got a point.
He does got a point. Like, yeah, like, I don't think it frustrated me. I don't think it ruined the film for me, but I was definitely like, because it does annoy me that he doesn't learn anything from Audrey. Like, I don't know, if he's not going to change, at least have Audrey not come back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Joe,
Joe W, 4 stars. Apart from the overuse of the phrase, I'm a good girl, I am. Enjoyed it a lot.
I love that that's like the breaking point. I must say, Audrey Hepburn's accent, like, when people first start this movie, they'll be like, ooh, don't want to sit around for all of this, because It is quite jarring. I do understand you, Joe, where you're coming
It's quite
from.
full on. Yes.
Yeah, and Stephen Scott, the last of the reviewers, he said, I understand the part about the mirror, but what's the idea behind the rotating mirror?
I was wondering the same thing.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Why is it spinning?
Like, it's
I
like,
can see it. She's
like
looking at
check your
herself,
vowel
like-
shapes in the mirror, and it's like fucking spinning. It's like, holy shit, what am I meant to do here?
She just gets like dizzy from it. Because I think her head spins as like the mirror spins. Like,
And she just like passes out on the floor. And like, oh dear.
They'd be so, Eliza, are you okay? She's like, what did it be like? She's just gone.
So yeah, that's My Fair Lady.
Yes,
There she is.
My Fair Lady. We finally found a musical we both like, even though it's not, you know. So I don't know if we'll ever get around to reviewing Singing in the Rain and like Sound of Music, because we both just hop on about it enough or have already
I
recommended.
feel
it.
like we'll have to one day though. One day, definitely.
One day down the line in the future.
Wouldn't it be lovely? So yeah, guys, thanks for joining us on this this one heck of an episode, as they say, of My Fair Lady. Episode 48. We're creeping up to the 50 mark. It's pretty intense.
Come back next week for Bond, and then 50, dude. It's gonna be a special
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a bit of a celebration, as they say.
Maybe we finally will have that drink that we always forget to have at our milestone episodes.
Maybe we will, or maybe we won't, and we'll have to wait for 100.
Or maybe we'll just get hit by a bus and there will be no 50th episode.
And you guys will never know about it.
You'll never know.
But in case that doesn't happen and you want to stay updated, feel free to follow us on Twitter. Check us out on the YouTube, the SoundCloud,
Like,
the
comment,
iTunes.
and subscribe.
Do it all.
That's all they say.
Do it all, guys. We really appreciate that a lot.
Just give us those clicks. Like, click them about.
Give
just
us
tap
those
it away on your smartphones.
clocks. I like the clocks
want
a
the
lot.
clocks.
Oh my god, please do it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I like all the
Yeah.
shows that you've been going to, Brenton, because you know, Brenton's a working actor. I love all the shows you've been going to, and you meet the audience members. You'd be like, oh, by the way, listen to my podcast.
Bitter dubs, guys. I do a podcast. It's really suck.
Yeah.
And
it's so funny though, because I don't want to be that guy that says I have a podcast. I try and refrain from in my private life like mentioning it that much, because like, you know, it's like, oh, you do a podcast. It's just like such a wanky thing to say. It's like, everyone does a podcast. It's like,
yeah, totally.
So when I promote it, it's very anonymously, but I'm proud of it, and please do share it if you do like it.
Yeah,
So.
please do. Anyway, guys, that's all. Time to get back on the street and try and sell some of my flowers, eh?
I know that was a very long phrase to repeat, but literally this entire episode, Brenton, can you please now repeat in a posh accent?
Oh, okay. Welcome.
We'll be here for a while.
To Classic Movie Banter. My name's Michael Caine. See you guys. Bye.